Hey YouTube, my name's Kyle Nelson. I'm a co-founder of Sling. It's the device that holds your phone while you travel to make watching movies and TV more comfortable. I created this channel because I wanted to share with you exactly how we got Sling to market. I have a PhD in engineering, so I'm good at the design phase, but how did I do everything else like the logos, the marketing, all that stuff? Well, this video today is about user feedback. And I'm not talking about the end product, I'm talking about the prototypes and the in-between packaging and how do you validate your idea is actually going to go anywhere. If you're the only person who's actually using the product that you think is going to get to market, you're only asking maybe your spouse or your mom, you're only going to get good feedback. You're only going to tell yourself that what you're doing is really good. You need to get strangers candid feedback, completely unfiltered and brutally honest. Sometimes that's hard to get, and sometimes it's kind of scary to ask for because they might be, taking a poo-poo on your baby. So, how did I do that? How did I ask people to use Sling? Well, first, what is Sling? This is Sling. It's the travel device that holds your phone to make watching movies easier and more comfortable. So, it folds open. This little part here hangs on the tray table lock. If you can imagine my finger is the tray table lock. You take your phone, you lock it in the arm, and then you can adjust it to any viewing angle that you like. So I started out with a very terrible prototype. Go back and watch the prototyping video. That was a very embarrassing thing. And I didn't even ask anyone on a plane to use it. I used it myself first and found out that it was terrible, and many of my friends and colleagues agreed with me that it was also terrible. We ended up on a hard plastic version because the first version was made out of rubber and silicone and it was terrible. So after I got to this point, I only had the device. I didn't have any logos, didn't have any packaging or anything like that. And I gave it to people, and it didn't look like this. It was like prototype maybe 8 or 9, and this is number 13. And I said I would mostly approach people on planes, and I fly Southwest a lot. And if you've flown Southwest, they don't have TVs in the back of the headrests like a lot of the airlines do. And that's a thing that's going away. I'm going to talk about that in a different video. But on Southwest, you log into the Wi-Fi on your phone, and that's great because then you can just stream a movie to your phone, and you're going to be using your phone. Everyone's carrying a phone on them anyways. So if I don't have to install a TV in the back of the headrest, it saves the airlines money. Anyways, so I would see people on their phones and their necks would be looking like this, or they'd be holding it in this hand and then they switch to this hand and then it'd be up, and then they'd be trying to use like a cup or something to like balance it on the tray table. It all looked terrible and uncomfortable, which was the beginning of the idea for Sling. I'd get their attention and say, hey, I'm making a product that is designed to hold your phone and maybe give you a little bit more comfort. And it works with the tray table up or down, so that was completely independent. It didn't matter. In the beginning, I showed them how it worked. So I would physically take it out, I would put it on my tray table lock, and I would use it on my phone and everything. And I'd give it to them and say, just use it and let me know what you think about like the person reclining their seat. Some people like to really like bang against their seat. I don't know what their deal is. It's kind of weird. I'll rant about it. I've flown a lot. I will rant all day about terrible travelers and terrible flyers. But, what about turbulence and landing and all that stuff? Did they feel like their phone was safe in it? So I started very simple, just mount it and use it. And at the end of the flight, when they gave it back, they usually just handed it back to me. They didn't really collapse it or anything, and that was kind of expected. But I asked them very strategic questions. And one of the things that, each product is different. So I can't give you a list of questions to ask, because if you're trying to make a new bar stool, the questions that I give you about traveling on an airline aren't going to relate to a bar stool. But one thing that I did pick was about price, and you don't want to lead them on price. So instead of asking my user, if you'll call it that, the person using this, would you pay 20 bucks for this on a shelf? Instead of asking them an actual price, I said, how much would you pay for a product like this? Of course, I said, first, would you buy this? If they said yes, then I'd say, what would you pay for this? And be honest. Tell me, I want to know what you would pay for it because I want people to buy this. I don't want them to come back with some, kind of schmoozy answer of like, oh, I'd pay $100 for this. No, I want to know what you would genuinely pay for this. And out of I reviewed 176 different comments and interviewed 176 different people. In the price range, the lowest someone came back and said was like probably $18, $15. And the highest someone came back was $45. And that was their genuine answer. I was kind of blown away by I was like, you'd pay $45 for this? I wouldn't pay $45 for this. So it gave me a price range, but the average is $20 to $25. That's like the very definite average of $20 to $25. But the follow-up question was, what would you expect to see it retail for? So what people will pay and what they expect to see it retail for, it's kind of this game where it's like, I want to get as much money out of this as I can, but I also want the customer to buy it. I don't want to be right out of that edge of where they feel comfortable in buying a product. So if you're going to do a product, you're going to do an invention, something that's going to sit on a shelf or on a website, and you need to figure out a price point, don't lead them on trying to get feedback. And that goes for all of your questions. Now, as the product progressed, I needed feedback on the box. If you've watched the video about packaging and the 7-second rule, I would actually give people the package and say, and I'd preempt them ahead of time, and I'd say, now I'm trying to evaluate my packaging and my instructional insert, so would you mind if I just gave you the thing blindly and didn't say anything, and I just want to watch you use it and see what parts you struggle with so that way I can improve on the design. And that was super helpful because one of the pictures that I had on the first instructional, this is the instructional insert by the way that goes inside, so here it is folded up. This instructional insert was wrong. It was difficult to follow the first time, so I had to remake it. And that was a huge thing. I would have never gotten that feedback had I not asked these people for it. So I would hand them this and then just watch. I would see where they fumbled. Was it difficult to get out of the box? Was it, following the picture and then following it in real life? Was that difficult? And it really depended. It depended on the person. Some people didn't even look at the insert. They would pull it out, they would kind of get maybe a little bit confused by it, look at the picture on the cover, and then go, oh, okay, yeah, I see how this works. That was easy. And then after they used it the first time, it was like riding a bicycle. Sometimes things in life are like that. They're difficult the first time, and after that it's very easy. And I think Phone Sling might be one of those. Also, when you do this, ask the person's background. One of the people that I asked, they said they hadn't been on a plane in like 8 years. And so they wouldn't buy this. If they're not going to be on a plane for another 8 years, is their feedback really that valuable? Another person said that they only happened to be on this flight because their American Airlines flight was full and they only fly first class. And so they may not ever use this device because they're usually on their laptop working while they're in the air. And I get this product isn't for everybody, and your product probably won't be either. Sorry to offend you, but that's mostly the way it goes. Just remember that. So I still don't think the packaging is quite done, and I don't think the insert is done. But I think that the feedback that I'm getting says that I'm in a very good spot. Or a very great spot at that. One of the things that I like to say is great is the enemy of perfection. So I think if I'm this close, I think I'm good enough to go to market. If you've seen the packaging and I'll link to all this stuff so you can look at it and review it yourself. If you don't like it, if you think I'm missing something, let me know. I like feedback. The more feedback I get, the better the product's going to be by the time we get to the Kickstarter. So if you want to do the Kickstarter, you want to follow the Kickstarter, click on the link below, sign up. I won't spam you because I hate that stuff myself, but I will let you know when we're going to finally do the Kickstarter. So if you also want to buy one of these products, hit the like button because that's how we get popular. I can't wait to get on a plane and go somewhere fun and get a new life experience.